Channel 2 and Cardinal Network present More Issues. With David McPhail, Alison Wall, Mark Wright, Rima Te Wiata, John Gadsby, and Rawiri Paratene. And our special guests, Madeleine Lynch and Mark Ferguson.
TV show presenter, only it's not kids anymore, is it? It's young adults, and I'm a young adults TV show presenter. And you know how you can tell, can't you? Because I shout all the time, all right! Today we're going to waffle on and on about all sorts of stuff that adult TV producers think that young adults want to hear, when all they really want to do is watch a Guns N' Roses video. Yeah! We're going to be talking about unemployment till you're blue in the face. And then for a laugh, we'll be talking about sexually transmitted diseases. And then to have you rolling in the aisles, we'll be talking about teenage suicide. Yes, young adults, in the next half hour, we're going to be lecturing you about what an awful and unappealing place the world is. But don't worry, things could be worse. I mean, if you're really unfortunate, you might grow up to be a young adults TV show presenter like me.
Now I'm an adult, I don't have to go to the dentist anymore. Or eat my vegetables. Now I'm an adult, I can drive a car when I'm drunk. I can embezzle money, rob banks, or shoot through to Australia instead of paying maintenance. But this is a cough mixture ad. And what's all that stuff got to do with it? Well, when I do all those things, I'm as high as a kite on cough medicine.
Or Voxicol, the cough medicine that packs a punch. Good evening and welcome to the show. We had hoped to feature Dame Kiri Takanawa tonight, but we couldn't afford the orchestra.
Yes, this week Dame Kiri, having persuaded Auckland to build her a $160 million opera centre, opened in La Boheme.
A tale of poverty-stricken artists in Paris.
Sung by extremely rich ones in Auckland.
Hello. I don't need to tell you who I am, but welcome to what McNaught thought. I'm the new broadcasting woman of the 90s. Cool, impeccable, calm, and gorgeous. But there is another side to me. Now I do searing, hard-hitting, revealing interviews. My first challenge is one of the world's most beautiful women. No, not me. My guest is Rachel Hunter.
Oh, gosh, gee, well, thanks. What a dag, eh?
This is going to be a tough one. Rachel, dear, to millions throughout the world, you are the epitome of glamour. But to some, especially a perceptive woman like myself, you appear to be, how shall I put this, an airhead.
Oh, gosh, gee, well, thanks. What a dag, eh?
I shall now commence my interrogation. Rachel, as a woman, surely you would agree that the tide of feminism rolled forward throughout the 70s and 80s, but has now, alas, receded along the beach of history.
No. Rod and I always swim between the flags.
Between the flags. Of course, as we both know, Germaine Greer has herself repositioned herself in recent years.
Oh, well, if it feels good, do it. That's what Rod always says.
What Rod always says. Rachel, don't you have any opinions of your own?
Well, Rod says I've got about 4 of them.
Rachel! Every time I ask you a question, you tell me what Rod thinks.
He says it all the time, too. Dag, eh?
Surely Roderick would be happier with a woman with her own mind, with a razor-like intellect and unsurpassed physical beauty.
Oh, yeah, like who?
Like someone not a million miles from where you're sprawling now.
Oh, you got me there. I don't know. You have to give me a clue. Does it start with a B?
It does not start with a B. Rachel Hunter, good night. And just think, could have been me on the cover of Woman's Day, New Idea, Cosmo, Vanity Fair, Boating World. I wonder what Ray Columbus is doing tonight.
The biggest rock event since Woodstock was the Smoke-Free concert on 2 last week. A smoke-free rock concert? Isn't that a contradiction in terms?
Hey there, dudes, I'm Robert Rockette. Your eyes chilled, husky, dusky, too naked with a rugby set symphony. What's going down here is smoke-free.
Oh, cut out the butt, breathe in the music, healthy, fit, and dead alive. Cut out the butt, breathe in the music, get down with this smoke-free jive.
But no rock gig would make the scene without a high-tech smoke machine. Catch the act, that is the joke. The smoke-free show with lots of smoke.
Oh, cut out the butt, breathe in the music. Hey, this smoke is getting thick. Cut out the music, breathe in the butt.
God, I'm feeling really sick. Cut out the music, breathe in the butt. Who needs crack or drugs or sex? Breathe out the butt, cut in the music. We'll all have some special effects. We'll all...
Right, good morning all. Ready? 3 more banks got knocked off in Newtown overnight. There's an abduction in Island Bay and a grievous bodily harm in Cuba Mall. And some milk money's been stolen from a pensioner's flat in Kandala. Oh. I want every officer in the station on that milk money case right away.
Right, sir.
Just a minute. Aren't you Jacko? Didn't you leave the force 2 series ago? Something smells here.
Yeah, probably me. I've been out undercover all night.
Detective Bernie Smith. And it's about time you and I had a private chat.
Well, you want to do lunch?
There's a rumor going around the station that you've been drinking on duty again, boyo.
What gives them that idea?
Good. Glad we got that sorted out. We can't afford to lose a good man like you.
But what about me, sir?
We've already lost you, Jacko. You're not even in this series. Right, the scene's going nowhere. We must as well break for a commercial.
He said, you don't need a car. What are you going to do with a car? He said, the last thing you want is a car. It's ridiculous for you to have a car, he said. You simply do not need a car. And I said, listen, honey, forget it. I'm getting a Holden, and I did, and I love it. The only problem is, I stole it.
Quiet, Wally. I don't like it. It's too damn quiet. Where the hell is everyone?
Everyone's out on a wild, wacky car chase through the streets of Wellington.
Well, what are we doing filming this scene in the station, then?
Because we can't afford a car chase this episode.
Oh, just like the real police. Tell me, where is Detective Bernie Smith, then?
He's out investigating a hold-up at a local dairy. That'll be him now.
That'll teach Mr. Patel to block up the footpath with his cabbages.
You blew away his cabbages?
No, I blew away Mr. Patel.
Oh, you know what this means?
Yeah, there'll be an inquiry coming up.
No, there'll be a very long and boring scene coming up when I have to type up all the paperwork.
In this week's Listener, yet another silly story about alternative medicine. What's going on in Southland? Nothing. But read about it first in the Listener. And we've got a comprehensive 18-page survey of that golden year for New Zealand sport, 1947, complete with black and white snaps.
This is what we're going to do. We're going to smear the back cover with super glue, making sure that when they put it down, they can't pick it up.
The Listener, like reading glue.
Excuse me, driver, have you been drinking?
No, I haven't.
Right, well, I'm going to have to ask you to blow into this.
Obviously, there are comforts to them. But there's no comfort these days for the government, which has sunk almost without trace in the opinion polls. But the Prime Minister says he is not worried. Mr. Bolger says he does not believe in opinion polls. We wondered how many other great historical figures weren't worried either.
So, the peasants have erected a contraption called the guillotine in the center of Paris. Papa, they love me. I am not worried.
Icebergs? What icebergs? I never worry about icebergs. Happy New Year.
So, Americans have new sort of bomb. So what? I'm not worried.
So you tell me that Susan Sexton's been married twice already. Why should that worry me?
Hello, peasants. Alan Auckland here from the City of Trends. And what's this week's trend? Latvian lager. Solidarity with the Baltic states. True, it's bloody difficult to drink with the potato in the neck, but it's expensive. And that's what really matters. Actually, this whole Baltic thing is stirring up a political hotbed down at the Posers Bar at the Jolly Car Salesman Bistro in Parnell. There's a few of us, right, who reckon that if these pathetic little Eastern European scumholes can be their own country, then why can't Auckland? We'd put this big fence along the Bombay Hills, and to get in, you'd have to wear sunglasses at night and drive a BMW with the license plate Pretentious Pratt. Think about it, peasants. New Zealand without Auckland. Not a pretty thought, is it? No. Yo, oh, you again, Ross. No, look, mate, I don't want to buy an aircraft carrier.
Drink, if I was at a party and had a bit too much to drink, and an attractive man offered me a lift home, would I A, accept without further thought, B, politely decline but give him my home phone number, or C, throw up discreetly in a pot plant?
God, Vanessa, I don't know. Probably A, accept without further thought, knowing you.
No, I'll put C.
C, throw up discreetly in a pot plant.
Well, you see, that's worth 4 points, and accept without further thought's only worth 1.
Vanessa, what are you doing?
This questionnaire, are you a party animal? Test your rating. Now, some work has emptied a bottle of vodka in the non-alcoholic punch. Do you A, top your glass frequently, B, loudly inform the hostess and get him expelled from the gathering, C, secretly pour another bottle of vodka into the punch, or D?
What's D?
No, I don't want D. Throw up discreetly in a pot plant. I think I'll pour another bottle of vodka into the punch. That's 5 points.
Vanessa, what is the point of all this?
I told you I'm assessing my rating as a party animal.
But how can you make a true assessment of yourself if you're just going to put down the answers that give you the most brownie points?
Well, if I put down what I really do at parties, I'd only end up with 1s. And I'd be, do everyone a favour, stay away from parties, you belong in a convent. I'd get all depressed if it came out like that.
Well, it's better than lying to yourself, Vanessa. I mean, how can you learn anything about the person that's really you unless you answer the questions openly, frankly, and without shame? What's the next one?
You come across a couple making love in the in-suity.
Oh, sweet. Just give me the one that's worth 5 points.
Concentrate! You've thrown up discreetly in a pot plant again.
We'll be there as soon as we can. God, Bernie, was that an armed offenders call out?
Nah, some loser had parked his Cortina in my car park. He won't do that again.
God, Bernie, you're too good a man to waste yourself like this. I think I can help your career.
You mean get me off the bottle?
No, but I can get you a guest spot on Nightline.
Oh, no, I'll stick to the bottle.
Now, that scene was going somewhere, but I wasn't in it. So we'd better go to another commercial break.
God, Jeff.
Yeah, I've been doing some reading in the newspapers, eh, babe? They say that the unemployment rate for the Māori is 25%. 25%? That's almost 1 in 4. Yeah. You know what that statistic says to me, eh, babe? It says that if you get 4 Māoris together for a bit of a party on, say, a Thursday night, well, 3 of them gotta go home because they gotta get up for work. Yeah. Tin guitar sounds real stink when you're singing it by yourself. Take me, for example. I used to be a kingpin rager. Yeah. Then, disaster. I got this job. Now, well, I gotta be responsible, eh, babe? Because taxi drivers are gotta be alert, awake, on the ball. And you know why, doy?
Watch the road, watch the road.
Exactly. There's heaps of crazy dudes on the road, eh, babe? Oh, doys, hey! Yeah. Still, there's the bright side to all this job, so, Yeah, it's called the national government. Yeah, with them in power, babe. Well, pretty soon, every Maori in the country's gonna be unemployed. And you know what that means?
Well, what's that?
Well, we can raise it up all week. Yeah. A hell of a band, no man.
Hello. What a scintillating night of thick-witted rugby chat we've got lined up for you. Because my guests tonight are co-coach Grizz Wiley and the man with the big rugby shoulders and the even bigger rugby mouth, Andy Hayden. And our special guest tonight, the greatest number 8 the game has ever seen, Buck Shelford. Buck, it's great to have you with us.
No, it's not. If I wanted him here with us, I wouldn't have dunked him last year.
If anyone's going to get dumped on around here, Grizz, it's going to be you.
Oh, and the sparks are flying already. Grizz, say something rude to Andy.
Wouldn't give the bastard the time of day.
Oh, this is great stuff. Andy, say something rude to Grizz.
I already have.
Well, no, you're just warming up, aren't you? Say something really rude.
Well, OK.
Oh, for God's sake, Buck, say something rude to both of them, will you?
Well, the point that I'd like to
Right, shut up, Buck. We're on your bloody opinion. We'll bloody answer it.
Well, shut up, Buck. Look, are we going to talk about the World Cup or not?
Oh, well, we could, I suppose, Andy, but we're really here for you and Grizz to be rude to each other.
OK. Grizz Wiley has been a disaster as an All Black captain.
Oh, that's more like it, Grizz.
Well, Andy Hayden was a disaster as an All Black captain.
Hang on, I never was an All Black captain.
I was.
Shut up, Buck.
Andy, do you see the biggest threat to New Zealand coming up to be Australia or France?
I think the biggest threat to New Zealand has been Grizz Wiley.
Grizz, what's your response?
Shut up, Buck.
I didn't say anything.
I'm sick and tired of destructive criticism, especially from Auckland stick-whackers.
All right, I'll give you some constructive criticism. You're a South Island pillow biter.
Oh, gentlemen, this is great rugby, but let's kick for touch, eh? Grizz, what sort of criticism would you like?
Well, Grizz Wiley, greatest coach in the history of the game. That sort of criticism. I can live with that.
Well, fair enough. Not as violent as last week when Grant Fox decked Earl Curtin, but Grizz and Andy are just warming up, and there's bound to be a real brawl real soon, just as long as sporting journos like me continue to stoke the fire. Well, let's leave the last word to Buck.
Well,
Shut up, Buck. As usual, Buck gets the last word.
But I didn't say anything.
Shut up, Buck.
And he said, you don't need a car. The shops are only an hour's walk away and you can go to the hairdressers on the bus. He said, anyway, you'll soon be pregnant and stuck in the house, and besides, you'll have my tea to cook and my washing to do and the house to clean. And I said, listen, loser, forget it. So I bought a tank and I blew him away.
Well, two of our most powerful politicians are overseas at the moment. Jim Bolger is hoping to meet President Bush, and Ruth Richardson is hoping to meet anyone who can spare her a dime.
We caught up with our financial diva in the VIP lounge at Auckland Airport.
My entourage and I are on a mission of national recovery. I propose to open credit lines for New Zealand with some major creditor nations. Given the current state of our economy, I shall first visit Ethiopia, Uganda, Sierra Leone, Botswana and Iceland. And if that doesn't work, I'll play my ace card. Busking in Piccadilly Circus. Money makes the world go round the world, go round the world. On second thoughts, I've probably got a better chance in Ethiopia.
You may be wondering what this little fellow is doing here. Well, in a very caring gesture, all Ministry of Transport vehicles will now be equipped with teddy bears. I think that's a wonderful idea. Judy, did you ever have a little teddy bear?
Yes, I did, Richard, until I was 6. And as soon as I was old enough to move from a cot to a single bed, I took Mr. Goober out into the garden and burned him. Well, this silly clinging to childhood fetishes is totally inappropriate in a budding newsreader.
But surely teddy bears have a place.
In a nursery, perhaps, Richard. But any person who is fixated on stuffed toys has clearly not matured into adulthood.
We'll have pictures of Pooh, Paddington, Patrolman at 10.
Good evening to you. I do not want to talk about news or current affairs or even me tonight. I am transfixed, transmuted, transmogrified, transalpine, trans-Siberian railway. What am I talking about? You see, I have been swept away by a divine diva. No, not Dame Catherine Tizard,
I refer, of course, to Dame Kiri Te Kanawa, the star of La Boheme. I was electrified in the Artia Center. I accidentally leaned against a live speaker. She burst into song, and I burst into flames. Bloody speak. It brought to mind, though, that wonderful moment on this very program when she kissed me. And it brought to mind that magic aria, my tiny thing is frozen. What is it? Hand, my tiny hand is frozen. And so tonight, in tribute to Dame Kiri, no news, no current affairs. Just for you, this.
Hello, magpies. Belinda's been working very hard, and so she's overseas recharging her batteries. Why doesn't she just put new ones in like everyone else? But anyway, we finally tracked her down somewhere in Germany. Guten Abend, sprechen die Deutsch, Belinda?
Ja, nightliners, as opposed to yo, nightliners. I'm beaming you away from the Reeperbahn in Hamburg, the Street of Dreams. You know, it's amazing here. You can rent these little street-level apartments by the hour, so I've just popped into one of them for a bit of a ride.
Belinda, those are not apartments.
Oh, yes, they are. A lot of the girls here use them.
Belinda, get out of there at once or you're in for a nasty shock. Someone from home might see you.
No, there's no one from New Zealand here.
Money makes the world go round, the world go round, the world. I've got a funny feeling that the Reserve Bank of Germany isn't in this street.
And that's our show. Good night.
Bon Marie.
Noise is made in association with the Auckland Park Royal, Air New Zealand National, and Rhinex Limited.
Next on 2, an outsider infiltrates the family in Chances. Then Rowan Atkinson suffers the curse of Mr. Bean, driving, swimming, lunching and looking for love. After Chances, tonight on Channel 2.
This has been an Eisenbach production in conjunction with Cardinal Network, computer solutions for business success. The program is supported by your license fee through New Zealand On Air.